Hi guys, I'm Sean Calloway and I'm the new product development manager here at Anzo USA. And today I'm gonna be walking you through the installation of our 15 and up Colorado headlights. These are our newest ones, full LED. They have the initiation feature as well as built into our styling right here around. That'll double as a turn signal. We have our low beams, which are these two projectors right here. And then for high beam, they'll all three come on. And then over here, we've got our reflector. Now, if we take a look at the back, we've got all the standard stuff. We've got all our normal plugins. So we've got our resistor plug-in, we have our crossover harness plug-in, and then we have our main connector right here, as well as some mounting tabs up here on the top and bottom, and the beam adjuster. So let's go ahead and get over to the vehicle and get these installed. Tools needed: an extension, a T15 Torx, a 7mm socket, a 10mm socket, and a ratchet. Okay, so in order to remove the stock headlights, what we're gonna do is I'm actually gonna remove this whole front fascia. Now you don't have to, but you can lean it forward after you release some of the bolts, but you're gonna want a second person with you to hold it. That way you don't snap off any of the lower mounting points. But in order to remove the whole front fascia, we're gonna remove 8 T15 Torx screws up here. There is two 10mm bolts located right in here. They go up behind the grill, so you'll need an extension. And then over here, along the fender and the front fascia, where we're gonna have 3 7mm bolts. And you're gonna need to drop the well liner down, and there's gonna be 7 T15 Torx in there. And then after we get that out, in order to pull the rest of it off, we have 8 T15 Torx across the bottom that we'll remove so we can get this whole thing slid off. So let's go ahead and get this started. Okay, so we've got our screws off the top. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna move right here to the center of the bumper, and right on either side of the license plate here, there's a small hole in here, right there, and that's the 10mm bolts that are holding this in. So you wanna go ahead and do these right there. All right. Okay, so now we'll move over to the fender. Okay, so we've got all the front bolts out, and now what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on the 3 7mm that are holding the front fascia to the fender. So those are holding in this wheel well liner that we're gonna drop down. So let me start and get these. There's 3 along the bottom here, and then 4 up to here. Get these inner ones. Okay, so once you've got those out, what we're gonna need to do is pull this liner out, just like this. This will drop down all the way up, so we have enough room to get in here. So what I'm using is I'm using this flexible extension so I can get in here, because this one back here can be a little tight in order to get in. So once we get in here, you can also just use a regular quarter ratchet if you got small hands and be able to get in here. But okay, so we'll start with the first one. Okay, so I've got all the bolts. As you can see, there's some separation right here on this front fascia and the fender. Everything's out. I've already crawled underneath and undid all the bolts from underneath. That way we can just pull this off. Nobody wants to see me laying on my back. And then the last thing before we get this fully off, we're gonna make sure that we disconnect our fog lights, okay? So you just kind of drop that. And you wanna hold the top, that way it doesn't just fall off and scratch your bumper. So we'll get that pulled out like that. Pull here. And then make sure you have a good support on it. Lean it forward, and you're gonna wanna reach in here and disconnect the harness for the fog lights. Okay, Now once you've done that, go ahead and support it back on here and just kind of give it a couple wiggles and it'll start to drop down. And now we can go ahead and set this off to the side. All right, so we've got the whole front fascia removed. Now we can go ahead and start removing the headlights. We have 4 7mm bolts. So there's one here, one here, one here on the side, and then one right down here on the front. So we'll go ahead and take these out so we can remove the headlight. Okay, so we've got all the bolts out of the headlight, and now all we have to do is pull it out. So all we got to do is pull up on this tab right here. That'll release it from the fender. We just pull straight out. From there, we'll disconnect the OEM harness, which is right here. It's got a safety lock on it too. And once that's disconnected, we can go ahead and set these off to the side. Okay, so before we can put the headlight, our new headlight in, what we're gonna need to do is we're gonna need to do a couple things. So first off, we took the resistor off the back of the headlight and we pulled off the sticker and we mounted it right here to the frame. That way it's got a good, nice flat surface for it. Next, you can see the bolts that I removed for the fender liner right there. And that's to be able to release that whole front fascia. Next, what we're gonna do, I've already got the passenger side light in. So we have this extra harness for the initiation feature that we have to run. And all I did was run it. There's a single plug on the back of the headlight. Well, that'll plug into the passenger side. And I ran the wire up here. We do provide some zip ties. So I just followed right along this channel underneath the hood latch and then zip tied it here. This other side, the driver's side, is gonna have 2 connectors. It's one 3-pin and one white 3-pin. So we're just gonna drop this down right here for now. And we have another part of this harness that we do have to hook up. So this part, the black 3-pin, is gonna plug into the connector on this one. That'll just pop right in just like that. And then this side of this harness is gonna go power and ground right to the battery. Very easy to do. So, and we're gonna tie this one up in here for now. And that'll give us plenty of length in order to route everything and make it really neat in here. This one's this white connector will hook up to the back of our headlight. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and grab this. On the back here, you can see this white one, the 2-pin, is for the resistor. This is for the crossover harness we just installed. And this is the OEM connector. So we'll just go ahead and plug all these in, get it mounted. Now these slide right back in. You have a little locator right here for the fender. That'll pop in up there. Now you just want to make sure all your holes are lined up. That we can go and start putting the bolts in and get everything back together. Okay, so before I put the front fascia back on, we're gonna hook up the rest of this harness, and that's the power and ground for the initiation feature. So I'll just have to loosen these. And then we can slide these right in to here. Tighten it back up. So before we get the whole front end together, what you want to do is you want to test your lights and make sure everything's working properly. That way, just in case something might have happened to them in shipping or something along those lines, you don't have to tear the whole front end back apart to take them off if you have to take them off for any reason at all. So we do this, that way we're ahead of the game. Feel like we're ahead of the game. Tighten this up. Now these are 10mm on this particular one. Yours may vary. I've seen them, sometimes they use 8s. Sometimes they use 13s, depends if you have a stock one, aftermarket one, or so forth. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and test the headlights. We're gonna verify that they work, get the front fascia back on, and then we'll be able to go through all the features. Okay, so now that we've got the truck all back together, before we go ahead and close the hood on this and check out what the lights look like, what we're gonna need to do is a headlight adjustment. And for that, you're gonna need a Phillips screwdriver. There's a channel cut out up here in the support, and you'll just go ahead and put the screwdriver right in there, and you can see the Phillips head on the gold screw that we use for the adjustment, and you'll spin this left or right, whether or not you need it to come up or down. So now that we've done a headlight adjustment, we can go ahead and close the hood. We'll check out the feature. So this is the lock feature, and this is going to be the unlock feature. So now we can go ahead and check out the rest of the light, and remember, don't get left in the dark.